Will and me, we've been through some things. Hello and welcome back to Bookish and welcome to Tag for Tag Tuesday. This is the Shakespeare Journey Tag, which is all about, your relationship, or in this case, my relationship with the works of Shakespeare. I think primarily focusing on plays, but sonnets as well. The tag was created by the people running Shaketember this year, and that is Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading, Jason from Old Blues Chapter and Verse, and then Nicole from A Day of Small Things. That's a channel I was not aware of before now. And they put together these really great questions related to Shakespeare and your reading of Shakespeare, your experience reading Shakespeare. I was tagged by Jack, the Rambling Raconteur, to do this, and it was definitely a tag that I am interested in doing and a topic I want to talk about. So I'm going to be looking a lot at my phone because I have the questions here, and since I need new bifocals, I might have to get the phone really close to my face. Feel free to laugh if you'd like. Question number one, what was your first experience reading Shakespeare and what was it like? My first experience reading Shakespeare was reading Macbeth in school. The time period, or maybe just a place where I went to school here in East Texas, Macbeth was like the introductory play. I think in the years when I was in high school, it went Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, something like that, as what we read 3 years in a row. So Macbeth was the first of the Shakespeare plays I read. It did not go well. My English teacher who taught it was fine. We had to memorize, whatever, I can't even remember now, the famous soliloquy from Macbeth about, life being like being an actor on a stage. I think that's from Macbeth. And it didn't go particularly well. I have to be honest with you, I still harbor some resentment towards Macbeth to this day. Question two, has the reading of Shakespeare play ever brought you to tears? And the answer to that question is no. I've never been brought to tears by the reading of a Shakespeare play or anything in it. But I come close when reading about the death of Ophelia in Hamlet. So to me, Ophelia is the most tragic of all the characters in Hamlet. I'm sure that's not a unique opinion to me. That she is essentially driven mad by Shakespeare's behavior and treatment of her, which is cruel in his kind of monomania involving, avenging the death of his father. He essentially leaves behind a lot of collateral damage in the forms of bodies, and his treatment of Ophelia essentially drives her mad. And when Ophelia dies, Gertrude, Hamlet's mother, describes that death. I've always found that really moving, so even though this isn't the part where I'm supposed to read things, I'm going to read that part of that scene here because I just really like it. There, on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds, clambering to hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old lauds, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, till her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to a muddy death. I've always just found that to be really moving. We don't see Ophelia die. She dies off scene or off stage, but I've often found that to be really moving. Prompt number three, are there any people who have played a significant role in your Shakespeare journey? Yeah, Kenneth Branagh, the actor, is primarily the reason why I went beyond reading Shakespeare in school. I saw his Henry V, a copy of Henry V on VHS to let you know how long I've had a copy, and I loved it, and that has affected a lot of the answers that are in this, that are a part of this tag, but also Much Ado About Nothing is great. For a while he was that guy kind of bringing Shakespeare to a wider audience, and I was a part of that audience. I thought it was great, and so a lot of my love or interest in Shakespeare's plays comes from there. Prompt four, do you have a favorite book or a film about Shakespeare? Shakespeare in Love is just brilliant. However much you want to think is about Shakespeare or not, it's really brilliant. Hamlet I read last year, and I thought it was really powerful. Did I read it early this year? I thought it was really powerful and moving. Will in the World is a history about Shakespeare's life, which primarily focuses on, the world in which Shakespeare lived, which I found to be really interesting as well. Let's see. Prompt 5. Which character in Shape most resembles you and in which way? I would love to be able to say Falstaff is like me, but I'm not like Falstaff. I don't drink that much. I am big. I am kind of portly. I do enjoy a good time. I do enjoy a drink from time to time, but there are other aspects of Falstaff's personality that I do not want to take on and claim as mine. And so I was thinking about this really hard, and I thought of, you know, I'm not a main character type person, so I'm not going to be one of the main characters in any Shakespeare play. And so I was thinking, you know, who is a character that I've seen in a Shakespeare play and plays a small role, but I thought was really, really good. And I decided to go with the Herald from Henry V. And if you've seen Henry V, the movie, the play, or read it, the Herald comes from the French military to try to negotiate from time to time with King Henry V to get him to stop his war against France, to renounce his claims. And the Herald is there purely as a functionary, but he from time to time voices his opinion, and he reacts to Henry V in a way which I think in lots of ways Shakespeare uses to kind of enhance our vision of Henry V. And so since he's opinionated, relatively minor, he says what he thinks from time to time, and he performs an important function, I went with that. I went with the Herald from Henry V. Prompt 6. Which play would you most likely see performed in a theater, and why? I would love to see The Merry Wives of Windsor performed in a theater, and because it has Falstaff in it, he features prominently in that, even though time-wise he should not have been alive when the Merry Wives of Windsor is set. He's, you know, the object of fun and ridicule and problems in the Merry Wives of Windsor, and so you know, I would choose that one. Prompt 7. Which actor in his prime would you have most likely to see play Hamlet? I'm going to go with Chadwick Boseman here. Chadwick Boseman, easily most famous for Black Panther and his portrayal of the main character there. But if you've seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which is a movie of a play which was made, he is extraordinary in that part. A full range of emotions, from anger and potential violence to sadness to, you know, deep hurt. And so I think Chadwick Boseman would have been a great Hamlet, and I really would have enjoyed seeing that. Maybe he did play him. Anyway, so question 7. Oh, wait, that was 7. Okay, question 8. Deliver your favorite speech or soliloquy from Shakespeare. Okay, so again, I hate to be weird and kind of, you know, out of step with everybody, but the soliloquies and the speeches aren't necessarily the things I think are my favorite parts of Shakespeare. And that's, you know, having said that, how important Henry V is to me. But instead, one of the parts of Henry V that I like the most is the function of the chorus. And the chorus is like actually an actor who comes on stage and essentially delivers little bits of information, little descriptions of the scene that's upcoming, to transition from one thing to another. And in Henry V, this is necessary because we go, you know, from Henry's palace, the palace of the Louvre in France, to the coastline of England, to Harfleur, to Agincourt. We go to all these places, so the chorus comes along, and he tells us things all the time. And I think the opening chorus speech is great, but my favorite is the one where the chorus steps in and speaks just before, during the night before the Battle of Agincourt, which is the kind of the ultimate event of Henry V. And he's talking about Henry going around and meeting with and talking to the knights and the regular soldiers and just the everyday people who are part of his army. And if you don't know the story, you know, Henry V and his relatively small army were surrounded by an incredibly large French military force, which by all rights should have destroyed them. And so, you know, the men in that camp probably thought that they were going to, you know, die the next day. And so Henry's going around and talking to them, and I think the chorus gives a great, I think what Shakespeare writes for the chorus here is really great. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's long. I just chose a part in the middle. Oh, now who will behold the royal captain of this ruined band, walking from watch to watch, from tent to tent? Let him cry, praise and glory on his head. For forth he goes and visits all his host, bids them good morrow with a modest smile, and calls them brothers, friends, and countrymen. Upon his royal face there is no note how dread an army hath enrounded him. Nor doth he dedicate one jot of colour unto the weary and all-watched night, but freshly looks and overbears a taint, with cheerful semblance and sweet majesty, that every wretch pining and pale before, beholding him, plucks comfort from his looks. A largesse universal, like the sun, his liberal eye doth give to every one, thawing cold fear, that mean and gentle all, behold as may unworthiness define, a little touch of Harry in the night. I kind of didn't get the cadence right at the end of that, but I really like that speech, and I really like all the chorus bits in Henry V. Probably because question number 9, oh wait, no, that's question number 11, I have to wait. Question number 9, do Shakespeare's plays intimidate you? I would say probably not intimidate me, but there's some I don't have all that much interest in seeing or reading. Coriolanus, which I have seen, and I thought was pretty good. Timon of Athens, not really interested in that. There are all those that are, I think, that are set in kind of Greece. I'm not particularly interested in for whatever reason, but I don't think I'm intimidated so much as just not particularly interested. Question 10, what tips would you share with readers who are coming to Shakespeare for the first time? I saw Roz, watch Roz's version of this tag this morning, and her tip is my tip. You know, the plays are meant to be seen. They're meant to be acted. They're meant to be experienced as a member of an audience. So, you know, go see a play. Find, you know, a play that has been, you know, you can watch on video, or even just watch a movie of one of the plays, an adaptation of the plays. That's the best place, I think, to get into Shakespeare, because then you're listening to words, which, you know, oftentimes Shakespeare's lines run really fast and they're delivered quickly. And it's sometimes hard to get all the subtlety, but the actors are acting them out. And that then gives you clues as to what they're about. And so once you've watched it, then if you really like that play, you can go back and read it, and you'll get a lot more out of it. I think that's her advice would be my advice. Prompt 11. What is your favorite Shakespeare play and why? I used to say The Tempest, but in thinking about answering this and doing this tag, it is clear that Henry V is my favorite Shakespeare play, and so I'm just going to go with Henry V because that's true. And then prompt 12 is to tag some people. You know, I was trying to think of people to tag who I hadn't tagged, and so I couldn't think of who hadn't been tagged, and so I couldn't think of anybody. If you want to do this tag, please do, but let me also echo something Roz said. Please go over and check out Too Tight-Lautrec's Shakey Sonnet, in which they discuss all of Shakespeare's sonnets. It is brilliant, it is funny, it is a little bit edgy, and it is incredibly, their discussion is incredibly erudite about the sonnets, and it's just great. I'll leave a link to their channel down below as well. Anyway, there you go. There is my version of the Shakespeare Journey tag. Look forward to your comments in the comment section below, and as always, thank you for watching.